The 10th lesson in creative psycho-cybernetics teaches you how to be your own plastic surgeon, where you learn to remove the emotional scar within you that you put there yourself. You learn to be your own plastic surgeon by remembering to be too big to be threatened, by remembering to be self-reliant, and by remembering to relax. The 11th lesson in creative psycho-cybernetics teaches you how to stand up under stress, how to change a crisis into an opportunity.
You mean, Doctor, by positively approaching a stress, one can overcome this stress?
Yes, by not only positively thinking about it, but doing something creatively about it. You learn how to stand up under stress when you learn to practice without pressure, like money players in sports. You tackle a problem realistically by exercising your servo mechanism, your success mechanism within you that will steer your mind to a productive goal. The 12th and final lesson of creative psycho-cybernetics teaches you that you can be a winner just as easily as you can be a loser. You can change your luck deliberately. How? By simply concentrating on these two important points. One, you refuse, absolutely refuse, to let your negative feelings like frustration make your image shrink and shrink and shrink to the size of a microbe. You concentrate on your confidences of the past and use it continually in the present undertaking until it becomes second nature to you. You can use it whenever you want to, and it's like instant confidence. You become a winner when you learn to be yourself by understanding your rights, that you came into this world to succeed and not to fail, by selecting realistic goals to reach fulfillment, by exercising your creative success mechanism to achieve these goals. Now, these are the 12 fundamental points in creative psycho-cybernetics that will teach you to reach self-fulfillment as a human being, to be successful and happy.
Dr. Maltz has been lecturing before many audiences throughout the United States. And during his tenure of time, many questions have been asked. A list of those most frequently asked has been compiled.
Can you tell me how we can be ourselves?
Yes. Regardless of age or career, whether you're a student or a teacher, a doctor or nurse, a lawyer or secretary, a salesman or a manager, the important thing to realize is that you can't be a friend to others unless you're a friend to yourself first. You can't be a success with others unless you're a success with yourself first. You can't have the love of other people unless you have the love of yourself first. Even though you've made a blunder, you must learn to rise above it. It means hard work, but it's the greatest adventure in your whole life, something worth fighting for. You program yourself for countless goals, and when you reach one goal, the business of creative living is to reach for another.
How does this differ from positive thinking?
That's a very good question. Now, positive thinking says what it means. Think positively. Now, creative psycho-cybernetics means more than thinking. You think creatively, but you change that thought into a creative performance. In other words, psycho-cybernetics means doing. When? Now.
Is this a form of psychoanalysis?
No, it isn't, but it goes further than that. Psychoanalysis delves into the past, which is perfectly all right. But what is vital is that, suppose you know about the past. What are you going to do about your life now? N-O-W. And creative psycho-cybernetics means living creatively now, regardless of what the past is.
Dr. Maltz's remarkable insight into human behavior and performance improvement spread through all sports, corporate America, and the professions. Today, thousands are rediscovering the power of psycho-cybernetics, and thousands more are discovering these ideas for the first time. In any case, the techniques developed by Dr. Maltz were far ahead of the time, and they are timeless. Maybe even more important and valuable today than ever before. Let's take a look at some of these key ideas.
One of my problems in playing the trumpet, as well as other areas of my life, is I can rehearse something over and over again, but the minute I get in a tense situation or get in public or have a solo or an exposed part, I make a mistake. Well, as I begin to listen to the tapes and put into practice the ideas in that, I discovered that wasn't the real me that was making the mistakes. And as soon as I discovered who I really was and was able to put to work the exercises, the relaxation, then when I came to those scary spots in public and I began to eliminate those problems that I had before, and my public playing is much better.
All of us are frustrated sometimes during the day. I'm not talking about that. That's a human characteristic. And it's there for a definite reason, to stimulate one to rise above it. And that's what success is. I'm talking about chronic frustration, some hurt feeling, some agony of distress, some heartache, some grief, some guilt of the past that we carry on our mental backs day in and day out, many, many years thereafter. So that's the frustration I'm talking about. And if we know these red light signs, we can avoid them. They have fear involved in it. We come into this world in uncertainty. We live in it, and we pass on in uncertainty. But the business of living is to rise above uncertainty, to bend it to our will. Frustration has an element of retreat. Just because you've made a mistake, you retreat from life. You can't do that. In that instance, you sort of surrender your self-image, your dignity. You can't do that either, because the only treasure house you have within you is your self-respect. And if you're going to deny it expression, no one else will help you. So that when you practice this chronic frustration, dramatically speaking, you're like a traitor to yourself. You take a knife and symbolically kill yourself, and you needn't do that. So that when you refuse to turn your back on negative feelings, you put yourself in a position where you're like permitting termites within you to bore holes into your spiritual being, letting the fluids of your life force disappear down a drain. When people realize these dramatic aspects of it, that when you just hold on to negative feelings constantly, and that you're no more than a failure just because you failed, in these instances you practice chronic frustration, and you become much less than what you're capable of being.
These are inner commands, and we respond to... See, we just both responded to the telephone. We're so conditioned that we'll stop doing about anything. I mean, we'll actually even get out of the bathtub soaking wet to answer the phone.
So you're saying that we have commands that are embedded in our self-conscious that are that strong, that powerful.
Right.
We live inside two boxes. One, the big box, the solid line represents real limits, and we all have some real limits. But inside that box, the much smaller box, shown with the dotted line, is made up of self-imposed limits. Now, we manufacture these limits from things we've been taught, been conditioned to believe about ourselves and the world around us. For example, if as a youngster you heard a lot of things like poor but honest, money doesn't grow on trees, don't be a show-off, money can't buy happiness, a day late and a dollar short, that's just the way I am. Well, these have become embedded commands that now limit your ability to enjoy financial success. But did these ideas come from people qualified to teach you about financial success? Echolalia is a medical term for the repetition of words and phrases picked up from others until they become beliefs. These inner limitations